Hello, this is Tola from Trifield Productions with another Blender quick tip. And in this quick tip, I'm going to show you how you can import galaxies and stars and flares and flowing paper. Just import it into Blender fairly easily by using the easy to use Dust Particles Plus add-on. And the price ranges that anyone could try it or use it. Let's go to their site and take a look at it. Now the Pro version is $12, the Studio version is $24, but the Lite version is free. You can just download the Lite version yourselves and just give it a walkthrough. And for that price range, it's not that bad. It does a lot of stuff that would take quite some time to do in Blender. It does it just with a few clicks. And it's got a lot of parameters that you can adjust to suit your needs. It renders in Eevee and the cycles, and it renders or works in Blender 3.3 all the way up to 4.5. So that's like a very large range of Blender versions that it can work in. But I'll leave this link in the video below the video so you can download yourself and check it out. It's a bit of a tongue twister this morning, but yeah, we'll get through this. But once you've downloaded the zip folder, you have to unzip it because it's an asset library. It's not an add-on, it's an asset library. I've already unzipped it myself, which is here. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to left click in to obtain this file path. Right click, click on copy. I'm doing 4.1 for myself for this tutorial. But once you've copied that file path, just go into edit, then preferences. Go to plus, go to file paths first and click on plus. Left click in there, press Control V to paste that file path, enter, and then click on add asset library, and you're set. I've already done it myself and it's right here. And click on save preferences because sometimes the autosave preferences doesn't work sometimes, but to ensure that Blender has that file path, click on save preferences and you're good to go. Now we're going to divide our window up here. Left click and drag. Click on this icon here and go to asset browser and click on the all here, and from the drop down menu click on Dust Particles Plus Pro, whatever version you have. And there we go. It's got about, let me see, it's got about like a lot of presets here, good amounts. It's got particle circles, flares, galaxies, moths, leaves, paper, pollen, stars, all kinds of good stuff. So yeah, that's there. And then to import it is fairly simple. And the good thing about these presets is that they all have the same parameters. Everything's the same. They all have the same. So we'll just go to the few of the presets for some of these, or some of the parameters for these presets, and then you can just kind of fiddle around with it yourselves and just get an idea of how it all works because it's fairly straightforward. So with our cube selected, we're going to press delete on our keyboard to get rid of our cube, and to import these presets into your scene, you left click and drag. And let's click on the flare one. Left click, hold down your left mouse button and drag it in, and you let go and it's right there. And it's cool because it's automatically set to face your camera because these are PNG images. These aren't actual 3D meshes. They're just PNG flat images. That's all they are. And when you click on your modifiers tab, this is where all your parameters are. And at the top, what's checked is align sprites to camera. That's why it's always facing the camera. So we're going to stay in Eevee. Let's minimize this. I'm going to stay in Eevee here. Expand this to give us more view of what we're looking at in our window here. And as I said, we're going to keep it in Eevee. We're going to scroll up here, click on this icon to change our viewports. And there we go. We can see the flares right there. When we press play on our keyboard, it's all animated. All of these presets are all already animated, which is great. It saves a lot of time also. So I'm going to click back on that icon to have our elements highlighted there. Let's go through some of these parameters here. Now you can change the loop where you want the frames to start and end here. Start frame, end frame. Loop multipliers there. You can increase your particles. You can bump this up to like 200. Enter. And because they're just PNG images, you can bump this up pretty high and it really won't affect the rendering process or rendering speed of your computer because these are just images. They're not actual meshes, which is great. The C changes the randomness of how your elements are displayed. So if this right now is at 0. If we bump it up to 1, you can see it's starting to change the way this looks. Keep bumping it up, you can change the way it's all set, so that's nice. Increase the size of them here. Minimum size percentage of maximum. So I guess that adjusts the amount of the small particles as opposed to the big ones in terms of the percentage, which is great. You can use a mesh shape also to keep it all like in one area. You can add an edge fade. If you click on that box, you can see some of these flares have disappeared. So if you have a situation where you have maybe, let's say moths, or you have, I don't know, let's say dust particles floating in the air within a beam of light, you want those beams or the particles to stay inside that beam of light, and when they come to the edge, they kind of fade out, so you can use this aspect of it. Or if you have these particles flowing through a tube that's transparent, this comes in handy also. You can change the side of the edge fade and the fall off also. You can have a spherical fade as well, which is great. You have the shading here, which is also helps with the emissions. Now all of these don't emit, like the leaves don't emit lights, the moths don't, the papers don't. But you have your flares and your stars and your galaxies that emit light, so you can use this aspect of it to adjust the emission. You have settings for the alpha, the border feathering, the color. Right now this is blue. Let's left click in there and turn to red or green, yellow, pink. That's nice. You have adjustments for the hue saturation, the hue variation, value variation too. Shimmer, and that's also something. You have all kinds of settings that can be used for all of these parameters, all these presets, I mean, so that's great. You can enable wind also if you wanted to go have more turbulence in the way they move, or if they move along a curve, you can have the wind affect them more on the X, Y, and Z axis. Edge fade is also there, which is great. Increase the random movement, the speed of it, the distance traveled, the roughness. So it's got all kinds of parameters here. The random rotation is there in terms of like the speed of it, the distance from each other, the roughness of it. And when it comes to that rotation, when it comes to the roughness, how kind of bumpy it's going to look, or rough it's going to look. So that's great too. Constant speed, you can change that also. Have these move along a curve. I'm going to bring out the paper because I wanted to showcase how the paper can be affected by the curve. All of these can be affected by the curve. But I think that what is helps make it more realistic when it comes to the paper is having the paper kind of move along a path. Because paper, when it's being blown in the wind, it just doesn't just stay in one spot for the most part, and just kind of, sometimes it just kind of circles. If there's like a bit of a tornado or a spiral happening in an area, you'll see it kind of spin around. But for the most part, paper goes from point A to point B. So I'm going to delete this. And we're going to go to the paper. You have three kinds of paper here. And let's pick this one. Left click and drag this in. And we can see our paper is there. You can increase the size of the paper also. And let's increase the amount of the paper too. Let's increase that. Make it more. Because I want to showcase it following a path. Now let's go into our top view by pressing 7 on our keyboard. And then press Shift A, and we're going to go to Curve and Bezier. Left click on that, and that's our curve right there. Let's click on our Move Gizmo and pull this out of the way a bit. We want our curve to be a little bit longer, have some more turns to it. So let's press Tab on our keyboard to go into Edit mode, and let's left click on that handle there and press E to extrude this. Let's press G to grab first to extend it a bit. G to grab, move it out. 7 again on our keyboard. E to extrude. Let's move this around. I'll rotate this. G to grab it. And E to extrude again. Pull this out. I'll rotate. And that's pretty good. Let's press Tab on our keyboard to go back into object mode. And now what we're going to do is we're going to click on our paper there. And then we're going to scroll down to, let me see, we're going to go down to the curve. Use curve, left click on that. left click on this eyedropper and left click on our curve there. And as you can see, our paper has gone to the beginning of our curve. And then when we press play on our keyboard, it follows that curve. And as I said before, you can have all these adjustments, give this more of a more realistic looking flow of paper. But yeah, that's how you can use the curve aspect of it to have more realistic looking paper movements in your scene. You can apply this to, I guess, the moths too. If you want the moths to move around a light somewhat, you can do that too. But yeah, the Dust Particle Plus Pro add-on, it's a good add-on. It's very, very simple to use, very straightforward, and I mean, it does what it says. It just adds particles, you know, and it's very diverse in terms of the variation of presets that it has. Yeah, so that's today's Blender quick tip, the Dust Particle Plus Pro add-on. Hopefully this was helpful for those of you who watched, and hopefully you guys will try it out yourselves. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, adios.